Hi guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome back to another League of Ireland Premier Division show. Delighted to welcome onto the show once again, Jesus of Nazareth. How are you, Sean?
Very good. Yeah, come down from heaven for this, so better be good.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a few YouTube comments there, and I was
There's
thinking,
some very smart lads out there.
yeah, smart lads, but also quite flattering at the same time, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's worse. It's hard to think of better people to be compared to, I guess.
Yeah, you can't beat that one, can you?
No.
Um, we'll start off at the Brandywell where Derry City drew 1-1 with Dundalk, and obviously this game was on
Yeah.
Friday, and we'll obviously talk about the Shelbourne game later on. But I thought on Friday after the result, I thought Derry had blown an opportunity here, and I
Mm,
still feel a little like that anyway. If you know what I
mm,
mean, like there were strong favourites to beat Dundalk at home. They couldn't do it. They were one down from the 21st minute when John Mountney scored from a corner. It's a good header, in fairness to John.
mm.
Danny Mullen scores his seventh goal of the season, 64, to earn Derry City a draw. They did have a couple of chances there. Duffy had a chance near the start of the game where he missed, and Mullen had a chance to lob the keeper later on. It wasn't an easy chance with 4 minutes to go, in fairness. But definitely, before we get on to Dundalk, from a Derry point of view, and even though we now know the result of Shelbourne's game, I think this is 2 points dropped, isn't it?
It definitely is. I mean, I know I've said on the show in the past that I don't think Derry had the mettle to really go the distance with Shelbourne, but I think even at that, I think this was a game they could have won. I expected them to win this game. And in the second half, they were a little bit unfortunate. I thought they had a couple of good chances, but the finishing was very poor
Mm.
on their half. There was one chance, I think there was one, to be fair, where I think Goddard made a really good save. I think it was Mullen put it in between his legs and he just sort of catches it with his tie or something. And I thought that was a good save. But other than that, yeah, I thought Derry were wasteful in front of the goal, and this is definitely 2 points dropped. I mean, it's you before the game you would have expected them to win this, and the fact that they went 1-0 down in this game was not good.
Mm. Should they've had a penalty, do you think? Sean Kyo, is
Oh,
that a penalty for you?
I've seen them given,
Mm. Like
and his
it's a
arm,
good enough distance away to give it, I think, isn't it?
his arm is up as well. I
Mm.
think that I think yeah, another referee might have given it, and I don't
Mm.
think you could have had any complaints. They probably they probably should have, but I think at the
Mm.
same time, on the balance of play, a draw was probably the fair result between the two
Mm.
teams.
Yeah, I would have sided on the penalty more so there, in my opinion, because I think he's enough. He's far enough away, isn't he? He's
Yeah.
a few meters away anyway, where he can
Mm.
actually try and get his hands out of the way or whatever. For me, it probably
Yeah.
was a penalty,
Mm.
but it wasn't given, and they were 1-0 down at the time, in fairness, too.
Yeah.
From Dundalk's point of view, they won't give a crap if there you've dropped points or
Yeah.
not in any
Mm.
kind of title race, because that's a massive point for them,
Yeah.
confidence wise as well. Again, we'll talk about Drogheda later as well, but
Mm.
Drogheda are looking better at the moment too, so it's a massive point for them. Obviously, Daryl Horgan's corner kick setting up Mountney,
Mm.
and they look to the likes of those players for experience and Benson
Mm.
and that because they've been dreadful in the last few weeks. So to come away from their point of view to go to Derry,
Mm.
come away with a point is not only great to get an actual point on the board, but psychologically, I
Mm.
think it's a big one for them, isn't it?
Especially with the way the other results went this weekend, it was a great result for them. I mean, the corner kick, it's really uh, the Derry commentators were, more naturally more critical
Hmm.
of their own team for not defending it very well. But I think it's a very well taken corner, and it's a great header from Mountney.
I've seen worse defended corners, really, to be
I've
honest. It's not
yeah,
the worst defended corner.
because I think Mountney is smart, and I think it's just like Horgan hits it into like such a small little window where Mountney can get to it, and I forget his marking at the time, but
Hmm.
you can argue that maybe Derry should have had someone on the back post, maybe, and that would have stopped them from going in.
Yeah.
But I think as far as technique goes, it's a great goal for Dundalk to get, and they actually had another chance in this game. Robbie Mahon, I think. I mean, he should have at least made the keeper work for his chance in the first half, and
Hmm.
he skied it. I think if they'd have gone 2-0 up, they might. I don't think Derry would have come back.
No, no, true. No, it's a big point for Dundalk and a disappointing one for Derry, but obviously
Mm,
they're still there in the
yeah.
race, so to speak. At Dalymount Park now, it finished Bohemians 2, Waterford FC 3. Rooney after six, his
Yeah.
sixth goal of the season. Devoy
Mm,
after 37. McDonald OG in the second half on 46 minutes. Power on 62. And Glenfield with his first goal for the club on 81 minutes. Now, Really hard. I done a vlog on this. If anyone hasn't seen the vlog, I suggest they watch it. But really hard. This was really hard to dissect at the time, straight after the
Mm.
game as well, and all that kind of stuff. Your emotions are still high, even though you're not a fan of either club. But I'll start off talking about Bowes, and I'll let you then morph into Waterford, so to speak. And
Yeah, that's
Bowes
fair. Yeah.
obviously went 2-0 up
Mm.
at half time. Hadn't won in 13 matches, or sorry, one win in 13 matches.
Mm.
Rooney got that goal in 6 minutes. It was a good goal. It was a good goal, to be fair. I think he does well. I know there was a question of the goalkeeper, but gee, I think he hits it well. I think it's a good strike, and he puts them
Mm.
1-0 up. Devoy in 37 minutes then obviously makes it 2-0, whereby it was good football, but then I thought there was poor defending from Waterford. Devoy was left in acres on his own, and it was kind of like one of those controlled miss-hit shots, if you like. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean? He
Yeah.
kind of knew kind of what he was trying to do, because I think if he kind of cuts across it, he realizes that there's a player on the opposite side. So he
Yeah.
knows hitting it back where it came from, even though doesn't hit it cleanly, it's going to dribble into the net. So actually, I
Mm.
thought it was actually a decent goal in that regard. And, it was weird because it was 2-0. And then it was 2-0 at half time. Amond hit the bar, and Treska made a good save in the first half
Mm.
from, might have been Amond too, was it? Or was it Glenfield? It was
I think
Glenfield,
it was
actually.
Glenfield. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
But it was weird. I never felt like Bowes were in control of this game, even
Mm.
at 2-0 up. I felt they had a couple of chances in the first half. They more or less took them. I thought Waterford done most of the kind of running in the half, if you like. They a bit more, applied a bit more pressure. I thought they probably had more possession, I would say, as well. I don't know that as fact, but I would have thought so. And I honestly felt at half time this game isn't over. I said it to actually a Waterford fan who'll be watching this show, actually, he'll know as well, at half time, that this is far from over. If Waterford get one back, I said Bowles could wobble. And they did wobble, and Waterford just were absolutely brilliant in that second half. And then I'll let you take it up from here, Sean.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was real. It was a really great character to come back from 2-0 down in any sense. I mean, obviously things went wrong for Bowes because you don't give up a two-goal lead without anything going wrong. But I think we had the dream start to the half really to score so early on, and like even if we getting a little bit fortunate with the own goal, but that really set things in motion. Uh, Barry Bagley in midfield really commanded the game. His kind of his soft influence on the game in that sense is really invaluable, and we did well without it going through sort of the mid portion of the season, and so it's gonna be really valuable to us as we head towards the business end. I thought himself and Glenfield were really good because Bowes looked to lock up Podge Hammond in this game, and that's where he came into his own. Then he got a really great finish for the last goal.
It was a
All
super
three
finish,
goals.
wasn't it, though?
Oh,
Honestly.
it's a brilliant finish. I
Like, it's
mean,
such a
it
clean finish as well, like, isn't it? Like,
it is, and like with the two other goals sort of being scrappier, it was a great way to get the last goal. But I think yeah, it came from winning the second ball or like being available on the edge of the box. All three goals. I mean, the first one swung in from that area. The second one, Dara Power gets there, and the
mm.
third one, of course, Glenfield hits the first time. It's a beautiful strike. I think. Yeah, I mean, and look, it's interesting because I think Bowes probably should have had a penalty earlier on in the game, but the penalty that they got, clearly
Mm.
wasn't the penalty. I'm surprised
Mm.
the referee gave it because you can see where he's standing.
Mm.
I thought he would have had a fairly clear view that it didn't happen in the box.
It was very hard
So
to tell from the time for where you were,
yeah,
because, as you can imagine, for a start, there was pandemonium in there and everyone
yeah,
lost their shit basically. But
yeah,
it looked like I thought it was a foul,
yeah,
but I wasn't sure if it was in the box or not. That
mm,
was the point. But I do remember the referee, to be honest, and you're right, the referee was in a good position, so I would suggest he gave it rather than the
yeah,
linesman, if you like. But
mm.
he did seem to be in a good position. It was a good mazy dribble, in fairness, by Clark.
I was,
And
yeah,
I think Waterford take him down when you look back at the replay on purpose.
yeah.
You
Well,
know
it's
what
a
I
foul.
mean?
There's no question about it. Yeah,
As in, he's
mm,
not getting into the box type thing.
mm,
So it was a bad call, actually, when you look at the replay, to be honest, wasn't it?
yeah,
Bad
yeah. It
call. And
was.
obviously, justice was
Mm.
done. Rooney hits the bar, but
Yeah. Yeah, look, we can get away, I suppose, with talking about it in a lighter sense now because it didn't really have any impact on the
mm.
game,
I
so
just
to speak.
imagine if Bowes got a draw, would we have seen like Sligo the other week, a statement going into the FBI, Sean?
Well, they've set the standard now, so I mean, I guess we would have been entitled to send one in at this stage.
Yeah,
No, but it's I'm absolutely delighted because and other results went our way this week too. So we're back
up to third.
we're back up to third for the time being, and as I said, other results went our way this week. And Keith Long said in his post match interview, and I'm glad that he said it. Like look, we we're a promoted team, and whatever about the recent run of form, I'd have taken your arm off for the chance to be third place heading into the final round of games for the season.
Oh God, yeah.
So it's great. But at the same time, we said, we don't want to be giving fans hope and then taking it away. We are where we are now. Let's push on. Let's finish out, and let's finish in third, or let's even push on to second even. We've got a game. Our next league game is against Derry at home on the 23rd. We haven't beaten Derry this season. And I looked at it here against the top four. If you look at the top four playing against each other, or even the top six, we have by far the worst record against those other top teams. So let's change that. Let's change that, and let's get a result, and let's push on and finish firmly in the European places. So I'm delighted with the ambition, delighted with the heart shown on Friday night. I mean, even though we went 2 goals down and we weren't playing well in the first half, I really can't have any complaints about the performance on Friday night. It's everything you want in a football match, and actually I missed it because I was doing something else. So
Damn.
maybe I should miss more games. I don't know.
Maybe we'll ask the Waterford in the YouTube comments, the Waterford
Yeah.
fans, maybe should Sean miss more games? We'll finish off quickly on a word on Bowes, and now it's one win in 14, and it just
Yeah.
keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And I wasn't over there, as I said. I was in the Waterford crowd, and therefore I wouldn't have heard anything at the final whistle because they were
Yeah.
going mental. But I presume there was a bit of booing in the Jody
Yeah.
stand, I would suggest, and
Mm.
yeah, well, I know one win in 14 is hard to swallow. I don't think they've warmed Talon Reynolds at all anyway.
No.
The whole shenanigans with the under
Mm.
21s didn't help with that either.
No.
So he is under pressure, their club under pressure. Dundalk and Drogheda are picking up points. I know they've 2 games in hand, but ultimately they're 4 points above a playoff place.
Yeah.
It is getting a little bit worrying, I would suggest, for Bowes
Yeah.
fans.
I think they are in a relegation scrap now. They've got to play Drogheda and Dundalk still. They've already lost to Dundalk in Oriel this season, and they were lucky to get away with a draw last week against Drogheda. So if you're a Bowes fan now, that has to be your mentality. You're not, unfortunately for them, they're not looking up the table, they're looking down, and so praying that and it will happen, because those two teams are at the bottom of the table, unfortunately, for a reason. So they're not going to win every game. But even with those 2 games at hand, like I said last week, Bowes are not going to win 6 of their next 6 points. I wonder if they're going to win. I wonder, they've got a bit of a break next week, I guess. You would expect them still to beat Kerry.
By the way, if they don't, I imagine Reynolds is gone, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'd imagine Reynolds is gone. I really think Fenlon should be gone too, because he's been there longer. The selection of players has been really bizarre. I mean,
and not only that, I defend Reynolds a bit here as well. I mean, Pat Fenlon essentially brought his buddy to the club as well. So, there's an awful lot, in my opinion, that Pat Fenlon has to answer for. And I think he's gotten away with murder, if I'm honest, in this last couple of years of Bowes. And I think Bowes fans have shielded that a little bit. Maybe they're starting to see it more now. I'm not sure.
I think if heads are going to roll at Bowes, then he should probably be the first, because he's been there longer. The stuff at the start, I said at the start of the season, I thought Bowes could get sucked into a relegation fight because of the players they were signing, and they were doing it so late. There was clearly friction between Devine and Fenlon at the time. You signed your man Philip Piszczek from the third tier in Japan, and people wondering where the hell he came out of and stuff like that. It was bizarre. And then some of the players who you thought were going to be the big ones, I think Ryan Court, who signed a 2.5-year deal or something, and he's gone. Yeah, it's kamikaze stuff.
The Lander gone. The one person that did get right, I have to say, and you're obviously going to, if you have a bad bag of apples, you'd like to think the odd good one would be in it as well.
Yeah.
So Tretzka's obviously been a good one for them. Probably
He's
got to
been
be
very
fortunate
good
there, really. But
he's been very good, although even then you'd have to wonder, is he good because he's just called into action so bloody often for both?
That's another scenario. We'll move on
Yeah.
from Bowes. Bowes fans, let us know what you think in the comments, as well as Waterford fans of your club generally. Sligo Rovers then beat Shelbourne
Mm.
2-1 at the showgrounds on Saturday. Fitzgerald at 24. Warrawoo on 65, Caffrey scoring a 56 in between. And obviously, for a start, Sligo Rovers getting back to winning ways. And I thought there was going to be a kick in them after last weekend. They've had 5 wins in a row. They were unlucky to lose last weekend against Pats. And then they've come back and got a very good win. So we've spoken about Waterford obviously being third.
Yeah.
Sligo are right there with them, really, aren't they? And,
Mm.
and
Oh yeah.
whatever Waterford think they can do,
Mm.
Sligo Rovers fans can think they can do
Mm.
as well. And that's a big
Yeah.
win for them. And
Mm.
the better side in this match. And in
Yeah.
fact, Shelbourne's goal was offside, actually.
Mm.
It was offside. Caffrey does well. I like Caffrey,
Yeah.
actually. I like the way he
Mm.
runs from deep and can make those runs, and he does tuck
Yeah.
it away neatly. But he was offside, in fairness. So,
Mm.
by the way, you can imagine if that finished as a draw.
Oh
Sligo
man.
Rovers fans must, oh my God, like,
Yeah.
honestly, like,
Oof. Yeah.
like.
Oh
I
God.
can't even comprehend
Uh,
what would have happened if they didn't win the match, basically, But they
that's
did win
it.
the match.
Yeah.
And it's a massive win for them. Shelbourne, it's a
Mm.
blow. But they can, I suppose, the fact that, we'll
Mm.
talk to them later on, Shamrock Rovers didn't win in particular, like
Mm.
Derry
Yeah.
City failed to take advantage on Friday. But I spoke to a few Shelbourne fans here, and they thought the team looked a bit tired. I wonder if they are looking tired, basically.
Mm. Well, they made an uncharacteristic mistake for the first goal, which isn't like them. They've been very tidy all season long, and it was very bizarre. And I think, yeah, I think the better team did win. I maybe wouldn't be so harsh on the Caffrey decision. I think, yeah, I probably was offside, but I think it's a tight one all the
Mm.
same. It's a nice way to pass, and he does well for the finish, to be fair
But
as
you can
well.
see from Sligo Rovers fans' point of
Oh,
view,
you can
after
see,
last week
yeah,
and that, like, it
mm,
just kind of,
yeah.
can we get any luck here?
Well,
Yeah.
I said actually, I think I said to you after we did the show last week that I wouldn't want to play Sligo Rovers this weekend. I thought they were going to win this game,
Mm,
and they did. They came out like blood and sweat,
mm.
trying to stop Shells from winning the game, and they were great value. I mean, somebody said it there that Sligo are probably the most exciting team in the League of Ireland to watch at the moment. I think
I
that's
think they're
true.
very good to watch. I enjoy watching Sligo Rovers play football, yeah.
Yeah, they had a number of good performers there. Waweru was great for them, and they had Ellis Chapman, of course, and Owen Elding, who's 17, I think, doing very very well for him as well. And they're yeah. I mean, we got lucky, I think, because we played Sligo Rovers last when they had like a bit of an injury crisis, and Max Matt had left, and this and that and the other, and we beat them 4-1. It wasn't our most difficult game of the season by a long shot. I think if we played this team, we wouldn't beat them 4-1.
Mm,
So
absolutely.
it's going to be a tough game in the showgrounds anyway. But when we do play them, I mean, they're the team on form at the moment, and I don't think they're going to slow down for the rest of the season.
Definitely not. Thoughts on Shelbourne? Do you think they're starting to wobble a bit?
There's a bit of it's very interesting. I think one loss,
After 10
difficult to
games to
say.
go, they've 10 games left now, yeah.
There's 10 games to go. It's going to be a nervy 10 games. All right. I actually looked. I know I've railed on Derry a bit already, but their last game of the season, I think, is in the Brandywell for them.
Mm.
That could be an interesting game,
Or it
depending
could
on
be
how
a
the season
nothing game.
unfolds. It could be a nothing game, but it
Mm.
could. But you have to look at it now. I mean, and Duff, like we'll look at it and say that that's a serious game. And I think one of the last games they have to play as well is they still have to play Rovers. They have to play also Talca,
Isn't it
and
mad though? They're top of the league. Sorry to go across there. They're top of the
yeah,
league. They've scored 29 goals in 26 games.
they haven't been exciting to watch.
But that's crazy, isn't it, when you think about it?
It's insane. I mean, I guess like you get it gets you so far, but you do need a bit more goal scoring prowess about you. Like
Mm.
I mean,
That's where Jarvis could be a massive derailment for them.
well, he's a big loss. I mean,
Mm.
they're feeling it already. He's a big loss for him.
Mm.
I
He
thought he
actually
was.
played for Hull in a friendly the other day, I believe. He
Mm,
commands a sub for 30 minutes or something.
I thought he was. I don't know why I thought this, but I thought he was here for like the rest of the season, and I thought like he'd be a big part of that. So the fact that he went, poor research on my part, but I guess like he he's
Well,
gonna
it's
be
hard
a
to
man.
tell with some of these loanees. There's that many of them at times you actually
It's
forget and get confused which ones
yeah.
are. But he technically was Sean, to be honest with you. But obviously, Hull were allowed to bring him
Mm.
back. You see,
Well, yeah, I'd say so. I mean, look,
yeah,
obviously that's a good indicator how they felt about his progress as a player that they called him back for the preseason. But yeah, difficult to know. They'll be playing Galway in the cup next week. That's going to be a very interesting game because that's a similar level of opposition and a game that I said even before that this is not a game that they're guaranteed to win. So it'll be very interesting to see how they handle themselves. If they lose that game, all eyes will be on them next Friday. All eyes will be on them on the 23rd. Like,
yeah, no, 100%. And then we had two games on the Sunday. Starting off with Galway United and St. Patrick's Athletic. Finished Galway United 1, St. Patrick's Athletic 1, McClelland on 37 for Pats, Ed McCarthy on 53 for Galway. And yeah, it was a strange. I watched this game on TV, and first of all, it was quite windy in Galway,
mm,
which isn't unusual, but
no.
yeah, it was very windy. And Pats have made 9 changes to the team that played Saba.
Mm,
Clearly two eyes on the game
yeah.
next week. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah,
But
that's
they did quite well in the game, Sean. To be honest, I would have taken a point in that
mm,
situation. To be honest with you, and
yeah.
first half they probably were the better side. Brandon Kavanagh
Mm,
played really well, played a lovely ball
yeah.
through to McClelland, who drives on
Mm,
and finishes brilliantly.
yeah.
Second half, then Galway were better in the second half. Pats didn't really offer much in the second half, to be
Mm,
fair, and I don't know how many throw-ins and dangerous areas Galway had in this game.
yeah.
Ed McCarthy had some throw-in, but they must have had over 10 throw-ins in the second half, like
Yeah.
corner kicks. And,
Mm,
I don't know how they didn't score from a set piece because you felt they were. But the goal in 53 minutes, a shot from Walsh, for me, Joey and Ang has to do much better
mm,
there. Much better.
yeah.
Like, not only does he not hold it, but he
Mm,
knocks it directly out front. And McCarthy, to be fair, reads it well and
yeah.
scores. But you know that kind of got Galway's gander up, and
Yeah.
they had a number of
Mm,
chances where they could have nicked it. And
yeah.
did have a goal disallowed actually for a
Yeah.
foul on Anang. And to be honest with you, I thought Anang made a meal of it before. He
Yeah.
probably was fouled on in the
Mm,
end, though.
yeah.
To be honest, but he
I
didn't
think,
cover himself in
yeah.
glory there either, did he?
No, no, I think for that foul, I think when he initially drops the ball, I think it's actually Redmond who knocks it out of his hands. So that wouldn't have been a foul.
Mm.
But I think it was Hickey
It
backed
was
into
Hickey
him.
backing into him.
Yeah.
But I think
Backed it.
Anang should be stronger, and I
Yeah.
think he should be capable of keeping that ball
I,
there.
I think if Hickey, instead of trying to create space, if he just like swings his leg at it and it goes in, then
Mm.
that's a goal and
Yeah,
it doesn't get disallowed.
yeah, because he didn't drop it because of Hickey, so to speak.
No,
Hickey
no, that
backs
wasn't
into him
where
there.
yeah, the foul took place when
Yeah,
Hickey reversed into him.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean he was like that for I mean of course the goal as well, but there was a chance in the first half there where he was just sort of like swinging his arms at the ball
Mm.
and it wasn't very convincing. I think Galway sensed that and that's why that's why Walsh tried the shot from where he did
Mm.
and it was spilled.
Yeah, he hasn't been
So
convincing so far, I have to say. I'll be honest, I wasn't that convinced of him the last time. He had good moments, of course, but if
mm,
I look at the goalkeepers in the league without going into too much detail and name you the top five, he's 100% not in the top five. And he could
no,
be well lower as well. He could be the bottom three or so, but he's not in the top five. And I just feel,
yeah,
whereas Kenny will look to build a squad, obviously, particularly for next season in the league, I don't think their goalkeeper situation, I don't think they have a good enough
mm,
goalkeeper to compete with the better teams, if that makes sense. Maybe they bring in
yeah.
another keeper, I don't
Mm.
know. But I don't think Anang is the answer to that personally.
Well, he is here on a 2.5 year deal,
Mm.
so he's going to be here for the
I'm not
next.
sure. I'd love to know what wages he's on, if you know what I mean. Is he on high wages? Is he on? Do you know what I mean? Like, is
Yeah,
he seen as the goalkeeper, or is he kind of seen as we need a goalkeeper now, and we might bring one in next? That'll be an interesting thing for me, because I don't think going forward he's at the level of definitely five of the keepers for sure in the league, if not more, but definitely five.
it's interesting, yeah, because like then I'd say, well, to be fair, the goalkeeping situation in the past this year hasn't been ideal. I mean, between Pitaluga and everything else. I
He's
mean,
an upgrade in him, but then again, so you or I be.
yeah, I think I could probably do a better job, but he yeah, he hasn't been convincing, but I think because he's on a 2.5 year deal, I would have to say
Mm.
he probably is
Mm,
he probably I think Kenny's going to ride with him and
mm,
hope he improves basically like that's what he is, and I mean he can to be fair, like we've seen him before.
mm,
This is not the best level he can play at, but look,
mm.
with any player, you'd want him to get into gear soon.
Oh, absolutely. From Galway's point of view, I think they'll be a little bit disappointed. I think they would have seen Pats, particularly in with the amount of changes, and they might have been rubbing their hands a little bit. We talked about Sligo and Waterford getting wins
Yeah.
to put them up to third and fourth. If
Mm.
Galway had won this game, they would have been level with those two. Opportunity
Yeah.
missed, I think, for Galway United in the circumstances,
Opportunity,
definitely.
100% opportunity missed.
Yeah,
I mean, and the fact that they had that and the goal disallowed, and then Walsh had a shot cleared off the line in the first half.
that's right. Yeah.
Plenty of opportunities to win the game. I will say it was really nice to see on a Sunday afternoon that aim at DC Park looked pretty full.
Mm,
Great to see, of course. I mean, and to be fair, like
mm.
I mean, I guess it's a great knock-on effect, the fact that you have so many teams competitive in and around the Europe spot. Maybe if Shells continue to slip up, maybe some of those teams will look in and say we have a shot at the title if we can pick up a few points here and there.
Mm. Yeah, you never know. I mean, I would have laughed at something like that at the start of the season, but I'd
Mm.
laugh at nothing this season, to be honest with you.
No.
At Tallaght Stadium, finally, finished Shamrock Rovers 1,
Mm.
Drogheda United 1. Darragh Burns, the fifth goal of the season on 6 minutes. And I tell you one thing, he likes scoring against Drogheda.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure exactly how many goals he scored against Drogheda, but he likes a goal against Drogheda. And
Mm.
Douglas James Taylor scoring on 74 minutes to make
Mm.
it 1-1. And again, this was a great opportunity for Shamrock Rovers to get
Mm.
back in it. And, they're now 10 points behind Shells with a game in hand, 8 points behind Derry with 2 games in hand. But for me, Sean, like there's a glimmer, but they have to put on a run. And for
Mm.
them, this is disappointing because it's an
Yeah.
opportunity against the team that's bottom of the league. If you want to get back in
Yeah.
the title picture after
Mm.
Derry and Shells dropping points,
Yeah.
you're the team that's in behind, so you have to take advantage whenever you
Yeah.
can. And they have failed to take advantage from first of all
Yeah.
from Shamrock Rovers' point of view in this game,
Mm.
haven't they?
They have absolutely. I mean, look, this is at home against a team that's bottom. And Drogheda have been doing much better in recent weeks. They signed well, and they're actually really good value for their point in this game. I thought even later on
Yeah,
they
you
might
watched
they
the full game, didn't you?
I
You
watched the full
yeah.
game, and I thought I have to say after Drogheda got the goal, I thought they were the more likely team to go on and win the game. I thought actually one thing that cost them, and I understand why they did it because Farrell scored a free kick last week, but I thought they got a couple of opportunities for free kicks on the edge of the box, and I thought that if even one of them was like a trick where they tried to play it in instead of just having Farrell try for goal, they
Mm,
might have caught Rovers off guard. So I thought, that was a little bit disappointing, maybe lack of imagination there.
mm.
But I thought they could have. I thought they could have won this game. In the first half, Rovers were definitely the better team. I thought Rovers. Ryan Brennan made a
Oh,
brilliant clearance.
that was
Uh,
unbelievable. And that keeps them
the
in the game. And ultimately, like,
yeah,
if you're a goal down
mm,
in any game, even if you were, I'm not saying Drogheda were, but in a
yeah,
game where you're being dominated, you have a chance right up to the end. And
yeah,
that's as good as a goal. That save by Ryan Brennan.
yeah.
Literally, like.
It is, and it bodes very well for Drogheda because the other thing as well. I mean, they had obviously a very bad start to the game. You can see it after 5 minutes, but
Mm.
they showed a lot of fight and a lot of heart. They were really going in for every ball, and there's a lot of fight there. I think it's very likely, whether it's Dundalk or whether they catch Bows or whatever. I think you could see this Drogheda team definitely not finishing at the bottom of the table.
They probably, Sean, the one thing I'd say that has in their favour to have question marks over the other two at the moment is that they do have bottle and they do have a bit of heart and
Yeah.
desire. It's
Mm.
kind of like you're questioning that a little bit with Dundalk and Bowes, though.
Yeah. This is not Drada's first rodeo at the
Mm,
bottom of the table.
exactly.
They've been here before, and a lot of those players were part of that team. Were part of those teams. Yeah, I think with Dundalk, you're looking at that experience a bit. I think Bows are obviously the best positioned team because they're eighth and
Mm.
they've got 2 games
And,
at hand. But
yeah, so hypothetically, they can pick up
I
points that they can't pick up.
Yeah, hypothetically, yeah, but they also look the most nervous and the most disorganized. There's a good sense of togetherness in Drogheda, and even in Dundalk, like there's a better sense
Mm,
of togetherness. So
mm.
yeah, I mean, look, obviously you want to win every game, but like you're getting a point away to Rovers. It's a really good result for Drogheda, and what it'll do for the confidence of that team going forward, be very very good for them.
What does that do for Shamrock Rovers, do you think? Obviously, if they win on
Mm,
Thursday, they definitely go into the Conference League. Surely,
yeah.
if they go into the Conference League, they're not coming back into a title race either, are they?
I mean, that would be, well, I'm kind of biased because I would kind of want Rovers to fall away anyway. But
Mm,
if yeah, I mean, like if that would be my thinking, like you
Because they're
chase the
not even
Europe.
guaranteed a Europe as such at the moment. We're talking about title race because we
Not
know their
really.
history, you see.
I mean, yeah, they're out of the cup, like so that's out of their hands. They can't win the cup to get into Europe. Um, so yeah, it's not guaranteed. Like and they still got to play. Like everybody's got at the top has got to play each other at least once for the rest of the season. And they've also got a Dublin derby to go. And I know Bows are in bad form, but with the Dublin derby,
Oh,
form goes out the window. We've seen before. Bows have been going very badly, and they turn it on
even a
against
few
Rovers.
weeks ago, I said I've been saying Bowes 1 win in 14 league games,
Mm.
but
But they beat
in that point
Rovers.
they beat Rovers in the cup.
Yeah, they beat Rovers in the cup, so it
Yeah.
can happen. It can happen, and yeah, I I I I know Drogheda have been a bogey team in recent years, but it's still a very bad result. They have got the games at hand, which makes it a little bit easier to
Mm.
swallow. But
But they
yeah,
probably
that's
have to win those games in hand.
they have to win those games at hand. You could see them doing it. I mean, you could see them beating Shells. You could see them beating. You could see them win their games at hand. See them beating Derry and whatever. But you've made it probably as difficult as it could possibly be now to win the title.
Mm. And at what point is it between we're in it, we can not win the
Mm.
title, or Jesus, we might be in danger of not getting into Europe? At what point does that become prevalent? I'm not sure yet at the
Yeah,
moment. But
it's
for
it's very
Drogheda,
tight still. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But for Drogheda as well, obviously they're 2 points behind Dundalk, and they would have been delighted with that point, having known as well that Dundalk
Mm.
picked up a point in
Yeah.
Derry. So, but that I said a few weeks ago, going back to three at the back, and the players now that suit what Doherty wants to do
Mm.
has really helped them. Like you've seen the
Yeah.
game properly. What Connor Kane played left wing back. I think he's a much better left wing back, for example, than he is left back.
Yeah, yeah. I remember going back to the game where we played him up in Weavers Park, and he got caught out a lot at left back.
Mm,
Uh, having the freedom to get up the pitch, and it's stretch pitch, especially works on Tala or in Tala because it's a wide pitch, so they were really able to exploit the wide areas. That's where the goal came from.
yeah,
Swung in, and James Taylor did very well for the header. He was very good all game, actually, James
that's it.
Taylor.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, going back to the 3-5-2 and being able to match Rovers in midfield, at least for physicality,
Mm.
it was a massive benefit to them. You could tell. I think the problem earlier on in the season was just that they didn't have the players.
To
And
do what he
Doherty,
wanted to do.
yeah, Doherty, there was Drogheda fans giving out because he kept playing the same way, but he didn't have the players to do it.
Mm.
But now he does have those players that signed very well in the summer, so I think we'll see them be a lot tougher come the end of the season.
The ironic thing is, if they somehow stayed up, I could see them being a little bit stronger next season.
Well,
That's
they're
the
going to
only
be
thing.
full time next year.
Yeah, also,
Yeah. Mm.
Absolutely. Look, Sean, we'll leave it there. Thanks for coming on. Guys at home, let us know what you think in the comments. Not as controversial this week, but of course there
Yeah.
was controversies all the same.
Mm.
There has to be one or two.
Yeah.
Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and we'll talk to you soon. Cheers, Sean.
Cheers, Keith.